Okay, we're ready to go. I'll hand it off to you, Chris.
All right, thank you very much. Let me know if everyone can see my screen. We good to go? Okay, so I'm Chris Frederick-Gill. I'm with Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control Division. I'm the director here, and I get to lead a team of incredible scientists and educators to actually help the residents of Harris County control mosquitoes. So today we're going to talk a little bit about why we need to control mosquitoes and just some general tips for all of the viewers. And we'll also kind of walk you through some of our processes and kind of pull the curtains back so you can see the behind the scenes part of mosquito and vector control as well. So why do we need to control mosquitoes? As many of you know that are here in Harris County, it's hot, it's humid, it's mosquito season, and unfortunately, our mosquito season is mostly year-round. We have about 3 months where we have very low populations, but for the most part, we can find mosquitoes around the county at any given time. And our primary charge is to keep you safe from mosquito-borne diseases. And so we're out fighting the bite every single day. So one of the reasons that it's so important to control mosquitoes, aside from the annoyance of mosquitoes, they can really make life miserable and make the outdoors unusable, is that they transmit disease. And as you can see, this is just letting everyone know how many mosquito species we have. So worldwide, there's about 3,500, and I say about because it depends on who's doing the classification at the time. And we have 176 in the US. We have 85 species here in Texas, and in Harris County, we are blessed with 56 of those 85 species. So we have quite a number of species, and so we can. That's mostly illustrated by the fact that we're in a subtropical environment, so we can support these mosquito populations year-round. We don't have the harsh winter to reduce the populations like locations further up north. Another reason that we need to control these mosquito populations is that we live in a very global society now. Folks can travel from literally the other side of the world to Harris County, to anywhere in America within 24 hours. And it's great for us. We can get anywhere. We can get our supplies and things everywhere. But that unfortunately also means we can move mosquitoes everywhere. So with this global travel coupled with urbanization, climate change, and just the number of species that are known to transmit mosquito-borne diseases around the world, they can actually be brought in at any given time to Harris County, which is why it's so important for us to control these mosquito populations and monitor them for mosquito-borne diseases. Here in Harris County, our primary species that we are focused on are Culex quinquefasciatus, which is a very complicated name to say, I know. We call it the southern house mosquito, and it's our primary vector or transmitter of St. Louis encephalitis and West Nile virus. More recently, in the 2014-ish, 2015-ish area, we started testing our Aedes albopictus and Aedes aegypti populations for the presence of these other diseases which they transmit, which are dengue, chikungunya, and Zika viruses. Fortunately, our Aedes populations have not tested positive for any of those viruses, but we still need to maintain vigilance and test those just to get out ahead of any issues that may occur. What is West Nile virus? West Nile virus is a mosquito-borne disease that's primarily harbored in birds. So what happens is a female mosquito will actually bite an infected bird and then take another blood meal, because they're taking blood meals to mature the eggs. So then they can bite an uninfected bird, and then West Nile virus can actually reproduce in those birds. So we call this an amplification step. And so the virus builds up in the communities of the birds. And then once a mosquito bites an infected bird, if it were to bite on a person or another animal, it can actually transmit West Nile virus to that person or that other animal. So we are very, very focused on preventing that last step of the mosquito-borne disease, in this case, West Nile virus, coming out of our bird populations and into our human populations or animal populations. So what are some of the important things that we can do around our homes? You'll see later on with Mr. Salvador Rico, we'll kind of walk you through some general steps that you can do. One is eliminate any water that's going to stand for longer than 3 days. eliminate it or change it out just to keep those mosquito larvae from developing in there. And one of the biggest things that residents and individuals can do to help us out is to wear mosquito repellents. This is the biggest step that will prevent not only the annoyance of mosquitoes, but can really help deter the transmission of mosquito-borne diseases from these mosquitoes into our residents. And there is a difference between a mosquito repellent and what people commonly call a bug spray or something, like that, what we call our adult control materials. And the materials that we spray out of the truck are actually designed to control those mosquito populations, whereas a repellent is designed to disguise our odors or disguise our body scents, or actually repel the mosquitoes and keep them from landing on us and biting on us. So it's very important that people wear their repellents. That's a very easy, cost-effective way to keep populations from biting you and to keep everyone safe. So that's a very general, quick overview. So with that, I'll hand it back to Deb so that we can watch the video. I hope everyone enjoys the video, has a little fun, and learns something. And so Deb, back to you.
Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and watch a short video where you'll get a bit of a tour and see how the work progresses. So I'm going to swap over to another screen. Just realized what I did.
Hi, I'm Chris Fredrigill, Director for Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control Division. We're a nationally recognized mosquito and vector control agency, and tonight we hope to present a high-level overview to you all and pull back the curtain to show off all of the hard work and amazing science that our folks are doing to protect the residents of Harris County every single day. The way I like to break our operations down is into three primary areas. We have prevention, detection, and intervention. And so on our prevention side of the house, we have our education group that's constantly going out and keeping our message out there with the residents, keeping everyone up to date on the new science so that we can really prevent these mosquitoes before they come off as adults and become such a nuisance to everyone and a potential public health threat. We also have our inspection sections, which our inspectors will go out to residents and they'll actually go to the house and walk the property with the resident and show them any kind of mosquito breeding sites they have on their property and in the immediate area, and they'll remediate any of those that they can. And again, the goal is to prevent these mosquitoes from maturing into adults and taking off, because that's whenever they become an issue. Then we have our detection side of the house, and this team is primarily charged with detecting any kind of mosquito-borne disease. So we're monitoring our mosquito populations, our bird populations constantly throughout the year. We go out and we trap these mosquitoes, we bring them back, and we actually test them in our in-house virology lab. And this is really the eyes of our organization so that we can figure out where we have a mosquito-borne disease issue and react as quickly as possible in order to prevent any spread to humans. Our last group is our intervention. And our intervention team are the folks that everyone's most familiar with. So our ULV ground trucks, which go out and actually treat for adult mosquitoes. They go out and treat under two conditions: if we have confirmed mosquito-borne disease, or if it's a declared disaster and the populations are interfering with response and recovery efforts. So think Hurricane Harvey. And we also have just recently added an area-wide larval control strategy so that we can go out and intervene as well. And these are our last resorts, and the primary goal of the intervention strategy is to break that transmission cycle in order to prevent mosquito-borne diseases in our residents. So that's a very high-level overview. You believe me, you will get a much more thorough explanation from all of our experts that we have lined up to speak to you all today. So I hope that you all enjoy hearing from us, and we'll all be present at the end to answer any additional questions you have. Thanks again, and enjoy.
So when a lot of people think of mosquito control, this is what they visualize, which is our ultra low volume vehicles, which a lot of people call the spray truck. And truth be told, this is actually our last step in controlling mosquito populations. So these trucks will only go out and treat under two conditions. And that is if we have confirmed mosquito-borne disease activity in an area, or if it is a declared disaster and the nuisance populations are interfering with response and recovery efforts. So we try to be very, very judicious with the use of our adult control materials, and we do that for a number of reasons, but primarily we want to limit the development of resistance in our mosquito populations. And so mosquitoes, insects are very good at doing one thing, but they're not very good at doing two things. So if you were to use the same material repeatedly, over time you will have a resistance develop in the populations, and the materials you're using will no longer be effective. So what we do is we actually rotate our materials on a weekly basis to try to mitigate that development of resistance in our populations to ensure that our materials are still effective on our adult mosquitoes. Another thing that we do is we go out and we collect mosquitoes from all around the county, and we actually bring them back, load them up, and we test them against our adult control materials just to ensure that our materials that we use are still effective on our mosquito populations. Now a little bit about this equipment. This is an ultra low volume machine, and so what that generally means is that it puts out a very, very small amount. And when I say small, I mean really small. So this machine here, when it applies the material, it applies the active ingredient at approximately 2 Tylenol over a football field. So it's a very, very small amount of the material which is concentrated, but the concentration of this material is actually effective on the mosquitoes and does not interfere with anything else. So it does not harm, people or pets or anything else. Another precaution that we take is we treat primarily at night, and we do that for a number of reasons. One is because a lot of the pollinators, bees, butterflies, things like this are not active at these times, so they're sheltered down and they're sheltered from any material that we apply. Another reason is there's not a lot of people moving around, and we also, it's the period of highest activity for our Culex mosquitoes, which we're treating for with this truck. So it's a number of different reasons that keep us from treating. A typical night, our folks will head out at anywhere from about 9 to 10 p.m. and they will treat until 4 to 5 in the morning. So it's late night work for sure. Another aspect of these vehicles are that we have real-time tracking capabilities on these vehicles. So at any given point during the night, we know exactly where this vehicle is, where it is going, where it has been, where it has sprayed, and we can track the exact amount that's coming of material that's coming out of this vehicle at any given moment. And we do this along with very meticulous record keeping, just so that we can ensure that we're putting out an amount of material that is effective against mosquitoes with minimal effects on everything else. So now that you've seen a high-level overview of our adult mosquito control operations, let's take a moment to look at the rest of the operations, which are lesser known, but equally, if not more important. Everything from our surveillance that we use to drive all of our decisions, to our education and our inspection sections, which are out trying to prevent these mosquito populations before they get to the adult stage.
I'm Rebecca Riley, Health Education Specialist for Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control. Our education program is here for you so that you can learn about mosquitoes, their habitats, their life cycle, and how you can prevent mosquitoes around your home. So first of all, let's talk about these 3 different species that we want you to know particularly about. That's going to be the Aedes albopictus, where we have information here, the Culex quinquefasciatus, and the Aedes aegypti. Those are really the most that we're concerned about for diseases in Harris County. So let's look at some of the things that we do to inform our community about those things. Starting out, we go to a number of community settings. We go to community events such as health fairs, festivals, just community outreach days that are presented from different organizations. We also provide presentations to homeowners associations, to Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and to other groups. We also have several different programs. One of those is going to be our Wiggle Tails program, and that's for local libraries. And in that program, again, we talk about mosquitoes, their life cycle. We bring some mosquitoes with us so that you can see the mosquito in its different life stages. And then also we provide a book about that at the end of the presentation. Here's an example of one of the books that we can provide to all participants to our Wiggle Tails program presentations. We also have our Skeeter School presentations, and those have the same information in them, but they're usually held in a school setting or a small group setting like a homeschool setting. And what that's going to be is mosquitoes in the different life stages. And we're also going to go over habitats and how you can protect yourself, and most importantly about the diseases they transmit. Along those lines, we also have our Mosquito and Vector Control Exploration Center. And in that Exploration Center, it's a sort of museum on wheels. And in that museum on wheels, you get to look at, again, at the different mosquito life stages. You get to look at mosquitoes close up, underneath a microscope, and then also learn about what we do and what you can do. Lastly, I wanted to let you know about the different things that we provide communities and the information that we have. We can talk about repellent. We do have some repellent available for communities in certain instances at our different events that we attend. We also do have mosquito dunks that we can provide to the community and the different events that we attend. Most importantly, we provide this information to you as a service to you, and we want you to share this information and also these services to your community. The other thing that we have is mosquito netting. One thing that you can think about when you take your children outdoors, they're in the stroller being bitten by mosquitoes, we have these mosquito nets that you can use to protect your kids when you're out on a walk. So one of the things that we also want to say is mosquito control is everyone's concern, and it's not just what we do, but it's what we do and it's what you can do. So here are some things that you could do in your own community. First of all, look around your own property and where you live and see where mosquitoes can be breeding and if you can get rid of those mosquito breeding sites. Also, you can help provide information to your neighbor and help them do the same thing to see if they have any mosquito breeding sites and help them eliminate those if you can. Always share information with your neighbors and remember that we're in this together.
Hello, my name is Salvador Rico. I'm the inspection supervisor for Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control. I lead a team of individuals, inspectors, that go out into the neighborhoods and go and check people's backyards, or we'll also check down the neighborhood and roadside ditches and such. And so I just want to give you a quick sample of what we do whenever we come out into the neighborhood or somebody's property. So for example, like on this property that we're at right now, we have a couple of items that can hold water. And we have this wading pool right in front of us, but if we can see, there's not that much water in here, and we don't see any type of little wiggly worms. Don't think we could get anything out of here, but we'll give it a try. Let's see what we found. So far we don't have anything in here. That's good. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and dump this water out. And that's what you want to do as a property owner, homeowner, or a tenant. If you have any type of receptacle or any kind of container that can hold water, once you see that water, get rid of it, dump it out. That way the mosquitoes can't go in there and lay their eggs, and the process starts all over again. Let's go check some of these other items we have over here. All right, got another little pool here. Oh, this one does have water. Okay, let's take a look over here. See if we have anything. Don't see anything quite in here, but we'll dip it one more time in a different location. Let's try over here on this side. Let's see if we find anything here. No larvae, and that's pretty good. And it's probably because these people had the cover that was on it was not allowing the mosquito to go in there and lay their eggs, so you cover it back up. Now tires. Some people do keep tires for whatever reason, you know, that maybe they have a flat or something like that, so they have a spare tire at the house, but they keep it outside. The thing about that is that when it rains, that water does not have a chance to drain out. So, if you can see in here, we do have some water in there, and we're going to dip this one. Let's see what we have. Ah, there they are. They're in there wiggling around. These are what a lot of people call wigglers. They are larvae. They're baby mosquitoes. You see them in there wiggling around. So what we want to do with this is we want to try and empty this as much as possible. Get that water out of there. Some of the other items that can also produce mosquitoes is going to be items like the bird bath here. And fortunately, this thing is already dry. And these things can also breed mosquitoes, and it can make your life a little bit unbearable when you're in your backyard. But if we all do our part, we can eliminate mosquitoes wherever possible, at least on our own property while we're there. Let's go and check some other things. All right, we've got some pots here that they're going to put some dirt in. So far these are dry, and that's good. All right, and some of the other things that we do while we're out there, we also do education. We give education to the homeowners or the residents that are there at the property. Because a lot of times they don't realize what they have. They just know that mosquitoes are biting them. And we're more than happy to go out there and show them what might be some of the things that can breed mosquitoes on their own property. And once they're educated about that, then they're able to eliminate a lot of those sources, a lot of those mosquito habitats, and it makes it that much better for them.
Hi, I'm Dr. Max Vigilant, Harris County Mosquito Vector Control. I'm the Technical Operations Manager in that department, and we trap all of Harris County for surveillance for mosquitoes and to test for West Nile virus. We trap 268 areas around Harris County. So these are the different types of traps that we use at Harris County Mosquito Control for collecting mosquitoes. We have a CDC, a gravity trap, we have a BG Sentinel trap, and we have a CDC light trap. These traps are placed in resident property, and this one we place it in storm sewers. How does it work? The CDC, like the gravity trap, we put hay, water that have sat there. Water have sat in hay for 4 weeks. We put it in this trap. Mosquitoes come in, they try to lay their eggs, they come and hang out to breed, and they get caught. We have them in the net. Biden Sentinel trap, we have a lure that smells like our skin, and we have dry ice, CO2, which is what we breathe out every day. That in combination, mosquitoes come in here, they try to come in thinking, well, they're gonna get a blood meal from someone. Instead, we trap them in a net, and we have them in a CDC light trap. Or storm sewers, we call them storm sewer trap because we put them in storm sewer, but they're actually CDC light traps. And we hang this trap in a storm sewer. How it operates? We have CO2, we have dry ice, we have batteries, we turn on our lamp. There's a lamp. Mosquito believes that dry ice plus lamp equals human being. Guess what? There ain't no human being. It's just our trap. Mosquitoes get into this trap and they are trapped. At the end of the day, when we pick up our trap basically looks like this, mosquitoes in our trap. And then we take this trap and we take it to the freezer to freeze them.
So from here we put them in our -80 freezer. And normally we would process this after about 10 minutes and it freezes. And we would make a box like so. And here on the box we label it year, trap type, and the collection number. And then we also have the area and the net number and the date on the trap. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna identify our mosquitoes. Here. So this right here is a chill table. We use these daily to help identify our mosquitoes. And we use forceps, heat pen, calculator, and we actually write down our information on all the mosquitoes that we catch on our paperwork. And this is what our collection sheet looks like. So here we have the BG, and this is the one that we're gonna identify. So from here, we already have some mosquitoes. So I'm going to look at these and identify them for you. So we would use a vial like so to put the mosquitoes in that we collect that we need for West Nile, or any other mosquito-borne disease such as dengue or chikungunya or SLE. The main mosquito we want to look for West Nile is called Aculex quinquefasciatus, and we have several here, and we're going to take them and put them in a vial. So we count as we go. The magic number is 50. So you're just going to watch me put these in a vial. Oop. And then sometimes we tend to have way more mosquitoes, such as this, in a case where we would just tap out more mosquitoes and we would put them into little groups to identify the same species. So we separate it first. We put them in the same species category, and then we separate the males from female. So this right here is a male. We do not pull males because males do not take blood meals, so therefore we don't have to worry about them transmitting disease. We just want to worry about the females, which are these. So now that we're finished pulling our mosquitoes, we're ready to ship these to virology to be tested for disease.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Freeman. I'm the virologist for Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control Division. And on today, I'd like to share with you how we process mosquito samples in detecting arboviruses. Arboviruses are infectious diseases that can be spread through the bite of an infected mosquito. In our virology lab, we test for 5 different arboviruses that can be spread to humans. Those include West Nile virus, St. Louis encephalitis, chikungunya, dengue, and Zika viruses. From our surveillance department, we receive mosquito samples that have been sorted and identified according to gender and species. Each sample contains anywhere from 1 to 50 mosquitoes. We only test female mosquitoes for arboviruses because female mosquitoes are the ones that bite. Let's go next door and I'll show you how the process works. In virology, we prepare specially labeled microcentrifuge tubes that match the cryovalve tubes containing samples that we receive from the surveillance department. The numbers on the tube lets us know from which area each sample was collected, so that if any sample comes up positive for arbovirus, we know exactly where to go back and spray to kill out and control for diseased mosquitoes. Working on a biological safety cabinet, Monique will now add the frozen mosquito samples that we have received from the surveillance department to the corresponding labeled microcentrifuge tube. She will now add the grinding diluent, which assists later on in grinding the mosquitoes. This process is repeated until all of the samples have been prepared. Now that all of the samples have been prepared, our next step is to grind the mosquito samples. At the bottom of each tube is a BB. The BB will be responsible for helping break up the mosquitoes into fragments during the process. Lauren will now load all of the samples into our tissue lyser. So here's what our samples look like once they have been ground up. We will now place the samples in a refrigerated microcentrifuge to spin them down. If there's any virus in the samples, it now has been released into the liquid portion of the sample. We'll press start for 8 minutes. Now that the samples have been spun down, this is what they look like. A well-defined pellet at the bottom of the tube, comprised of compacted mosquito fragments. The top portion, our supernate, the top portion is what we use in detecting arboviruses in our samples. We will now return all of the samples to their original cryo vial, working under the biological safety cabinet. Using a transfer pipette, Angie will now transfer the samples from the microcentrifuge tube to its corresponding cryo vial. In the virology lab, we employ several different methodologies in screening our mosquito pools for arboviruses. One such methodology is the ELISA test, which Angie is currently setting up. During the busiest part of our mosquito season, we test up to 600 mosquito pools for arboviruses. That number represents up to 30,000 individual mosquitoes being tested per week. While the summer does represent the busiest part of our mosquito season, arbovirus testing takes place year-round in the virology lab.
All right, so now everybody's gotten a chance to see a little bit about what the work environment looks like at Harris County. And so, Chris, you want to share a little bit here at the end?
Yeah, sure thing. Let me share my screen one more time. So another thing that we wanted to discuss was STEM careers and basically how individuals can get into an often overlooked area of employment, and in this case, public health. And we hire and employ all kinds of folks from a huge diversity of backgrounds. We have some engineers working for us, which is a more traditional. We have biologists, virologists, entomologists. So if you can study it, we will probably employ you in some aspect. So one of the key things is to find a portion of STEM that you really enjoy, and finding a position, because there will be a position that fits that. So we have data analysts that are very good computer programmers and very good in math. We have a lot of technicians that have a variety of degrees that come in and do everything from trapping mosquitoes to grinding mosquitoes to conducting inspections. So the real key is to find something in STEM that you really enjoy doing, and don't narrow it down. All STEM careers don't all lead back to being physicians or engineers. Those are very important, but public health is also a very viable and fulfilling career path as well. So as you can see, there's a tremendous amount of science that goes into the decision-making process for our operations. And it's not what many people think of when they think of mosquito control, which is just going out and actually treating. So just find, again, I can't say it enough, find an area of STEM that you enjoy, and stick with it, and you can find a way to adapt a career in a variety of fields, not just public health. This is just one of the more commonly overlooked areas. So how do you get more information about the services that we offer? Maybe you want to come intern or volunteer or something of that nature. Well, we try to make ourselves as available as possible to the public. So you can check us out on our mobile application. A lot of people have smartphones now. So on this application, you can report a dead bird for us to come out and pick up and test. You can report mosquito breeding sites or request an inspection of your property. And we also offer our maps showing where our disease activity currently is located within the county, and also the areas that we are proposing to treat for adult mosquitoes that evening. So it's a very good app. We're also available by phone, 713-440-4800, and also our website. And you can get all of this same information off of our website that you can get off of our application as well. And again, all of the services that we offer, our inspection services, our education services, etc., are all, the price is right. They're all free of charge. So please, please, please contact us if you need anything, and we are more than happy to come out and help out. And with that, I'll turn it back to Deb, and we'll take any questions that you may have.
So thank you very much. If you notice participants down on the bottom, if you hover over the bottom of your screen, you should see a little icon that says Q&A. So feel free to type in any questions you might have in the Q&A, and don't be shy. And I want to open it up to some of the other panelists at this point. If there's anything that you all might want to share about your particular job and how you might have gotten to be in that position, feel free to unmute yourselves and talk away.
Okay, hi. Again, my name is Cheryl Freeman. I'm the virologist for Harris County Public Health Mosquito and Vector Control. And yes, I'd like to share a little bit about how I actually arrived at this particular position. I certainly echo Chris's sentiments regarding STEM careers and really finding your passion. There is a position, there is a role for anyone who is passionate about STEM careers. I had no idea that virology, and not only virology, but mosquito control existed prior to my actually applying for the position of virology specialist. So that was my first position here at Mosquito and Vector Control. To back it up just a little bit, I actually wanted to go to medical school, and it was during my pursuit of wanting to become a medical physician that I discovered my greatest passion, which I did not realize I had, and that is a passion for bugs. I fell in love with bugs during my genetics class at the University of Houston during a research project involving Drosophila. and that is the common fruit fly. And I had no idea that I loved bugs the way I did. I graduated from the University of Houston. I secured a position at National Health Laboratories, and I was actually testing human samples at that point. I was running HIV, hepatitis C, and a maternal fetal protein test for that laboratory. And then in my search for a position dealing with bugs, something I really wanted to do, I actually ran across the position available at Harris County Mosquito Control. I applied, I was accepted, and that was 26 years ago. I've been with Harris County now for 26 years. I absolutely love what I do. I have such a huge passion for it. So as I stated out earlier, I actually started out as a virology specialist. I was then promoted to virology lab coordinator, where, of course, my duties and my responsibilities increased. I stayed in that position for about 12 years. And following that, of course, I was promoted to my current virology position. And I love what I do. My job kind of brings together the best of both worlds for me. And that would be my love of science and laboratory work, and also my passion and my desire to help others, help people in a more health capacity related type of role. And so I've been able to do that. I have such a wonderful staff. My job entails quite a bit. I oversee all of the daily operations of the virology lab. So that includes training and motivating my staff. That includes budget details. That includes maintenance of equipment. There's a lot that goes into what I do. And of course, continuing education is a huge part of what I do. I have to make sure that I continue to be educated and knowledgeable about what's going on in the science world as far as arboviruses are concerned. So I would just encourage young people. I love speaking at schools, talking to young people. So I would just encourage young people, follow your pursuits, follow your passions, follow your dreams, and you just never know where that may lead you. I mean, it's led to a 26-year career for me, and I'm very, very happy for that.
Thank you, Cheryl. Would someone else like to share some insights about how you came to be where you are and what you like about your job?
I can add something to this, because most of all, everybody thinks that everyone who's involved in the mosquito business has to be a direct entomologist. But my background is basically in public health. I know a different etiology of the diseases, used to link with public outreach, public health aspects, and then entomology become part of the process because I deal with a lot with vector control from a public health standpoint. So you understand all the different things in public health. And like Cheryl, there were different pathways. Marine biology was my early aspect. And then I moved into the field of public health by default, because I really wanted to be a scientist. And when you get into public health, and then when I get to the States, to the United States, I came into mosquito control and became a bought-in entomologist, and to understand all the processes of entomology. So you move along that line. So your career path can lead you from any line into what you really get to like. I love this. I'm in environmental and public health and entomology in the whole field for 35 years. And it's encouraging to be in this field. So I'd encourage folks to plot your path and let go ahead with it and let it pick you, or you pick it along the way, but do something you like and do something you love, and you'll be gratified at the end.
Thank you. And I see we have a question that came in around being able to see by zip code data. So I don't know if one of you want to be able to share how that information might be found or where it's found. That would be great.
Yeah, so if anyone goes to our website, We actually have real-time maps that are updated as the data is entered. So anytime there's a positive mosquito pool or positive dead bird that's entered, our maps are updated. Generally, that happens between 2 and 4 in the afternoon because that's when our results come back. So it's updated daily around that time, approximately around that time, maybe a little earlier, maybe a little bit later, depending on, because, you know, as you know, anytime you're running any kind of experiment, you can try to narrow them down as close as you want, but they will always find a way to run a couple minutes shy or a couple minutes late. But anyone can go to our website and they can see that information, and the maps on our website as well have a feature in the top right corner where they can type in their address and it will zoom in on their address so they can see if there's mosquito-borne disease activity in their area or if there are proposed treatments that are going to occur.
Thank you. Who would like to speak next?
Well, for me, I started out in kinesiology. So that was much different than, working with mosquitoes, but it also, my degree was in education. Just that led me to working with schools and kids, and really education is beyond that, but it's always about teaching people things and connecting with people. And so after I started working here, I worked in the various sections throughout the division, learned a lot about what we do and why we do it, and then why it was important, and then how we could actually not only help the community, but then I also got to look at the other side and how can I help our own staff. So using those educational skills, I was able to put together some education programs that we could begin to give to the community. It started with one called Project Catch, and it was for 5th grade students. So we did that. And then the other thing is we've really built an important training program for our employees over the years. And that's also important because for you as a community, you want certified, qualified people who are up to date with methods and strategies used to protect your health. So to me, I love meeting people and talking to people and sharing information with them. And then I also like helping our employees to be the best that they can be.
Thank you, Rebecca. And I actually got a text message wondering, Salvador, so do people just call on the phone and ask you to come to their backyards when they're having a mosquito problem, or how does that work?
Well, actually, they can call our office, or they could go through our app, and they can request an inspection of their property. We don't just go onto properties, just by chance. We need to get permission to go into somebody's backyard. And when we do go back there, we want to show you exactly what might be going on, because a lot of people don't realize that they are growing their own mosquitoes. And sometimes it comes to a surprise to them, and sometimes it doesn't. But all we're trying to do is just help them out to try and get rid of that mosquito problem that they're experiencing around their home. But yes, just call our office or through the app, and we'll try to make an appointment as quickly as we can. And I know sometimes, people don't, aren't able to be at the home, but if we can make some type of arrangement sometime during the week, we'll be happy to go out there and go check that out for you.
So Salvador, how did you come to be in your job? What was your pathway to getting to your current job?
Well, I'm a product of the community college system here in Houston. And so when I was trying to gain employment, I found out about mosquito control. And mind you, I remember seeing the spray trucks way back when, and I also used to ride my bicycle behind these spray trucks. Just to let everybody know, I've been here for 34 years. So I remember driving behind the spray trucks and never thought I would be employed by mosquito control. But once I got here, I ran through the gamut of opportunities that were offered to me here. So I started off as a nighttime driver, ended up mixing the chemicals for a while, also became an inspector and did that. Also did education for about 10 years. And then ultimately I became supervisor to run the inspection section. And we got a great group of guys out here, and we look at the big picture. And the big picture is that we're not here just to do a job. We're here to help the community. And so we don't want this disease to be spread out. So we're trying to educate as many people as possible to eliminate the sources where the mosquitoes come from, whether it's, doing it on a one-on-one basis, which our inspectors do, or if we can, just help them out in any way possible that they can tell us, well, there's I noticed this roadside ditch on the way home. There might be some mosquitoes coming out of there. Well, if you report that to us, we'd be more than happy to go out there and check that out as well. But a lot of the things that I have come to learn about mosquitoes is through applied science. So there are plenty of people around here that have a lot of knowledge in one aspect or another. And all I did was just hang around them, listen to them, and I gained all this knowledge, and I'm able to pass this knowledge on to the generation that's coming right behind me. And so it's a great place. I really enjoyed it here. Like I said, I've been here 34 years. I might stick around another 30 years. Who knows?
Thank you. Chris, did you want to add anything about kind of your pathway as well?
Yeah, my pathway was a bit more direct. So I did biomedical science whenever I was in school, and I quickly took some entomology classes, which is the study of insects, as kind of some electives, and I caught the proverbial bug, so to speak. And it's just amazing the diversity of the species of insects that we actually have, insects and just arthropods, ticks, spiders, etc., that we have in Texas. And so started collecting and started kind of fell in love with that aspect of it. And then when I graduated, I started out as a grant entomologist. And so I've kind of followed the same path as Mr. Rico. I've done a lot of different positions here. I tend to bounce around every 2 to 3 years into different positions. So I've been a special projects entomologist. I've been a research entomologist. I've been a larviciding operations entomologist. And then a field operations manager, and then in my most recent position, which is director. And so that is one thing that I would urge folks to, especially the younger generation that's coming up, is don't be scared of work, right? You can't hold out for that management position. So whenever you get the opportunity, if it's something that you enjoy, go in at the ground level. One thing that you will discover is the higher you move up into an organization and the further along you get in your career, the less you actually get to do the part that you fell in love with, which is the field work portion for me. So I don't get to go out in the field as often as I would like anymore, just because there are other responsibilities that get tacked on. So you can really build a lot of fond memories and your knowledge set through what I call on-the-job training and just life experience in general. So find something that you love and get in any way that you can, even if it's on the ground floor, because that's some of the most rewarding work that you can do.
Thank you. And we have 2 other folks who weren't in the video, but Michael and Alyssa are also here on the call with us from Harris County. I don't know if you guys want to just quick jump in and let us all know what you do and your role as well.
Sure. I'm Michael Sontag. I'm a health educator, so I work with Miss Rebecca. So my background is I have a degree in environmental science with a minor in education. So I taught for 2 years and just found this opportunity. It's been a great opportunity. I've really enjoyed working here. I've been here 2 years almost, so not as long as many of these other folks. But I've learned a lot. There's just so much that we do here. And I just love our community. I love our county. And I would just encourage you all, regardless of, where you're at right now, reach for those dreams, reach for where you want to go. It's just, I love working here and I love my job of outreach and training development. I learn something new every day. And that's something really exciting that here, because we're very innovative here at Harris County Public Health. So thank you.
Thank you.
There, hi, I'm Melissa Castillo and I work as a health educator. I had kind of a similar background to Ms. Cheryl. I started at U of H as pre-med and I quickly changed to public health. So my first background was public health. Unfortunately, within a couple of years, it was very hard for me to get into the field with no experience. So I went back to school and got my degree in teaching, and I am a certified teacher. And there, later after I finished my student teaching, I saw posts that Ms. Rebecca Riley was looking for a health educator, and it was like the best of both worlds. I get to use my public health degree and my teaching degree. And this is about to be my 4th year working at mosquito vector control. And I really enjoy what I'm doing. And I encourage people that also whenever they go to school to stick with something that you will like, but also take consideration it might change over time.
Thank you. And as we're getting to the last couple of minutes, I think one of the things that I wonder about is when you meet somebody and you tell them where you work, would you guys like to share anything as a closing thought of either something crazy you heard or one thing you wish everybody understood about your work? And just jump in.
Well, the craziest things I hear are whenever I tell them where I work and people start throwing out all these crazy things they do. I've had a guy tell me that he just like pours bleach on the ground to kill his mosquitoes. And it's just crazy, some of the things and some of the myths that people think are true. And I want to correct them all, in a kind way. And yeah, just the myths and stuff that people just don't understand about mosquitoes and insects and health in general.
Sometimes when we interact with some of the folks, sometimes I'll get asked, whatever happened to those trucks that used to spray that real thick mist, the real thick fog, the ones I always used to ride my bike and behind and hit parked cars and, but no, the technology has changed so much now, as Chris alluded to earlier. It's, we put out very light material now, and it's very fascinating, especially, speaking with people who've been around here for quite some time, that they remember those days when, oh yeah, when that truck came by and that fog was so thick, they would just run away from it, go inside their home real fast, and wait for it to come out. Whereas now, sometimes when we do spray at nights, very little comes out and people are looking like, are you sure you're spraying chemical coming out of there? We could barely see it. So yeah, sometimes we get some of those questions, of our operations.
And I'll say, as an entomologist, as soon as someone finds out you're an entomologist, so anyone that's planning on becoming an entomologist, once you let people know, you will receive hundreds of pictures of insects texted to you daily, asking for identification. It's a great party trick whenever something shows up and you can tell someone what it is, but it quickly spirals out of control into people are lining up and just asking, what's this? What's this? What's this? I have this at my house. What's this? What's this? But so I would say, if those of you that are planning on going into entomology, be very careful on how many people you tell that you're an entomologist.
So the myth that mosquito control is just individuals in a spray truck that you hear every day. When you say I work for mosquito control, the thing that, oh, you're the guy who drives the truck down the road and belch out that smoke. When are you gonna come spray my yard? So you gotta try to tell folks, well, it's not just a spray truck. The spray truck is the end of the process. But then when you start talking about all the cool things that we do in the area, collect mosquitoes, set up the traps, identify them, grind them in the laboratory, get the results, everybody's like, wow, now can you tell me about all of these stories? So it becomes that a story that you can present. because they're no longer focused on just that spray truck. So you get into a zone now and try to say everything you know about mosquito control.
Anyone else?
I did see there was someone commenting on one of the apps that's available, and as an entomologist, you will be the fact checker of that app. So get excited. It is actually fun though to be able to tell people and be able to kind of conduct that type of outreach, right? So to let people know that they don't have to go out and throw out an insecticide because they see one insect on their lawn that may not even be causing a problem. So it is very rewarding to be able to educate people and let them know exactly what things are and the best ways to manage those populations, possibly without even the use of any kind of materials, just through general sanitation and keeping the lawn cut short and things like that does a lot to prevent a lot of issues.
Well, thank you all. We're at time. And so thank you so much for sharing part of your evening with us and sharing your expertise. And now we have more people who understand what you do and that you're not just the trucks and wondering why the trucks aren't out everywhere. So again, thank you for your time this evening. And with that, I am going to